Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Locker Room, our weekly podcast where we accentuate the positive of all of our student athletes in the Bayou region. I am Stan Gravois. Helping me with all of this is Dustin Robichaud, our graphic designer here at the hospital. Dustin, good to have you here. The first, got to get this out of the way. This is what our show's about today. It's about Vandebilt Catholic's girls basketball program who won a state championship. We are going to hear from the press conference after when Jerwaski Coleman talks a little bit about what his team did. It's all Vandebilt Catholic today related to girls basketball. We're very fortunate to have a state championship from our area, and to have those young ladies do what they did is certainly very impressive. So we're going to highlight that. Got to tell you, though, before we get into all of that, other things on the show, we'll talk a little bit about baseball and softball, tell you where some of our teams are at related to standings right now. I'm trying to get used to daylight savings time. That's a big thing. Dustin, I don't know if it was a problem for you this morning.
Oh, it was rough.
Well, yesterday morning, obviously, was the first day of all of this. Got a little accustomed to it. I enjoy that we have a lot of daylight going later in the evenings. But man, to get up in the mornings is a little bit of a tough task, and it was this morning, certainly. So we hope that all of you out there are adjusting to that a little bit. Did want to mention also related to that, and what makes me think of that is we do our weekly game day show over at Joe's Coffee Shop, 300 Church Street, right next to the courthouse here in Houma. A fun radio show where we highlight all of the high school kids in our area from 7 to 9 on Friday mornings. Well, getting there for 6:30 is going to be a little tougher this Friday, I think, because of the daylight savings time.
Of course.
We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. And certainly we'll be talking a lot about the Vandebilt Catholic girls basketball program and what they have accomplished. And we'll get into a lot of baseball and softball moving forward too. But as I mentioned, back to Vandebilt Catholic, a big winner on Saturday. They defeated Madison Prep for the state championship in Division II Select. Final score in that one, 46-42. They were actually down by 4 late night game, but they showed a lot of character in coming back and taking the victory. Had a good path, too, to that state championship, where the 3 prior games in the bracket, they pretty much wiped out the competition. Madison Prep was a team that a lot did not expect to be in the state championship game. They were the number 5 seed. A lot of people thought it would be University, because University High was the number 1 seed in that entire bracket. But if you went back and looked at the schedule, you understood that Madison Prep, who had beaten University earlier in the season, probably was going to give University some trouble, and they did in the semifinal game. So it set up the big showdown over at University Center, which is in Hammond on the campus of Southeastern Louisiana University. And Vandebilt Catholic brings home their 2nd state championship. Congratulations to Jerwaski Coleman, a wonderful coach, a great motivator, and a good guy for kids. He is just out there at Vandebilt Catholic and loves that community. He's a God-fearing person. So again, congratulations to Jerwaski Coleman, to his staff. He's got Nate Fry on that staff. He's got Leela Day on that staff. He's got Caroline Loop on that staff. They did a terrific job this year. Congratulations to the Lady Terriers as they win it all. We were fortunate to hear Coach Coleman talk a little bit about the victory and about what it took to win. We're also going to hear a little bit from Tiana Stewart and from Michaela Charles, who has gone through a lot this year with a knee injury, but she was back in that game and she did a good job. So let's hear from those guys after the victory.
So state champions, if I could just get you to introduce yourself and the 2 players you brought with you to the press conference.
Jerwaski Coleman here, coach of Vandebilt Catholic. Tiana Stewart, junior, senior, Michaela Charles.
And some opening comments on the game.
I'm just happy for one of my seniors, one for our program, one for our city. But I'm gonna be honest, I got to give God all the praise right now, because without him, none of this is possible, because he really pushed us over these years, and it's been a long time coming, and it feels rewarding just to be so patient and have so much faith in God.
Coach, you had a moment of embrace before you hopped into the handshake line. What was going through your mind then?
Just thanking God. That's it. My mom always taught me, if you ask for something, he's going to give it. And he gave it, and that's what it was for me at that moment.
Coach, you kept you poised the last couple of meetings, especially
even with the technical foul and all that stuff, you kept telling the girls, keep going. And all of a sudden, it paid off, especially with the basket and the foul was on your mind, especially when you guys took that heat.
Our thing is we pride ourselves on going hard to the end of every possession, and we don't stop until the clock goes 0-0. So you got to maintain being poised. And if I get rattled, my girls get rattled. So if they see me as resolute, they gonna stay resolute, and that's what we preach and that's what we practice every day.
Coach, y'all were down by 4 towards the end for a little while, but then all of a sudden y'all kicked it in. What were you telling them in that huddle in that last timeout? Because when they came out, they were determined at that point. What did you tell them?
I'm gonna bounce with you. We really didn't talk about much. We just went to the next execution of the plan, and that was just the fight. We knew that they was gonna have some long passes. This court is long, and we know our speed and our gaps. We went to a gap defense where it looked like you open, but we're gonna try to shoot that gap on you, and that's what we did at the end. And we shot the gap and got a couple of steals at the end to give us a shot to win the ball game.
You had a lot of athletes on that floor, both sides.
Yes, sir. I had a lot.
What was the game plan going in to try to slow them down?
Make them play our style of ball. That's it. Simple.
Coach, they came out on like a 6-0 run right after break. And then kind of matching up and taking a quick little lead there. What did they do differently and then Riyadh to get back into a groove?
We didn't do anything different. They didn't do anything different. They played their style of ball. That is their brand of ball, really just getting in transition and scoring. And that's something we've been preaching all year. We played against teams that like to get up and run, so it prepared us for that opportunity just so once they do make that run, we'll be all right.
I mean, obviously, Michaela, I know you had her coming off the bench lately. Just talk about her saving the best for last. And I know she's been a contributor all year long, especially after everything she's overcome with the knee injury and everything. How great and how happy are you to see her sitting right there with the outstanding player trophy and the state championship to close out her career?
I know this young lady has faith in God, so it was just waiting for the doctor to say she's released for us to unleash her. And we had her coming off the bench, but like any one of our 7 players, man, like true core 7 player could be starters in the night, and it was her night to finish the night at the end.
Michaela, can you just talk about outstanding player, just like Coach just said, coming off the bench? I knew it was a long rehab process, but could you talk about your journey to getting to this point where you're an outstanding player and a state champion?
It was most definitely long. I could say that, but it takes a lot of hard work, the practice, the days that I don't want to be at physical therapy. I'm still going to push because this is where I want it to be. This is what I wanted for my team, myself, because last 4 years we couldn't get over that hump, but this year, this was our year.
How cool was it to have your sister knock down the last 2 free throws to seal the game?
I was excited for her because, like, you know, she liked the kind of big moments sometimes, but like it was real exciting to see my twin sister at the, you know, make the winning, not the winning free throws, but the big free throws at the end of the game.
So y'all got over the hump now. So when did you know? Was it 8 seconds left to go? Was it 6? When did you know y'all had finally made it over the hump?
4.7 seconds. I looked at the clock, and I knew, I'm like, yeah, we got it. It's over.
And Tiana, can you just talk about, you had the big go-ahead basket, you know, to put y'all up in the final seconds. What was going through your mind as you tried to get that rebound and, you know, try to put your team back up, you know, by 2 at that point?
As the play was going on, when I seen Journey catching, I just seen the ball coming my way. The only thing I thought was put the basket in the hole we needed. I'm doing this for my team, myself, because I knew that we came out here, we played this game, we all had the same goal, and that was to win. So I knew when Journey passed me that ball, I had to get a bucket for my team.
Would y'all both say that this was like the scrappiest, at most intense game that y'all have ever been a part of?
Yes, the game came down to physicality, attitude, determination, and most importantly, heart.
A final congratulations to Jerwaski, Coleman, and his Vandebilt Catholic Lady Terriers, state champions for the 2024-25 school year, defeating Madison Prep 46-42 on Saturday. What a great honor for that team. and did a terrific job of representing our city and obviously Vandebilt Catholic, and we're very proud of them here in the Bayou region. Wanted to mention we had 2 boys basketball programs that unfortunately lost out of the playoffs. That was quarterfinal action on Friday night. Ellender Memorial had to go up to Bossier in a Division II non-select bracket and ran into a very tough team in Bossier. They dropped that game. Final score, just to make sure, let me look here. Final score was 69-58. The Patriots go down in that one, but they had a great run, running 3 deep into the playoffs with a very young team. Cornell Scott does a terrific job with his Patriots. And the Vanderbilt's boys program ran into a buzzsaw in Hannon High School on Friday night. Hannon is the number 2 seed in all of the bracket. That is bracket Division II select. Hannon actually was down at halftime to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was up, and they were up very comfortably. But in the second half, Hannon put on the pressure, and they come away with the win. So again, Leon Beal and his Terrier boys team unfortunately go down, but they had great years. So that pretty much puts a button on basketball. Very proud of the girls program at Vandebilt Catholic, and very proud of all of our programs here in the Bayou region. We had a really good basketball season. Before we sign off, real quickly, we're making that transition into baseball and softball. Going to let you know how each of our teams are doing in District 8-5A. Now, this is all pre-district. Obviously, nobody's into that district slate yet. Thibodaux 9-7, Central Lafourche 8-8, Terrebonne 2-14, HL Bourgeois struggling at 0-14. All of those teams playing really good competition. So we'll see sort of how it pans out. You don't want to get too far down in the PowerPoint rankings, yet you still want to play good competition. We'll see how the district slates pan out. In District 8-4A, Vanderbilt Catholic is 10-13. South Lafourche is 8-6. E.D. White 7-10. Ellender Memorial 3-10. South Terrebonne 3-12. And Assumption 1-16. Some of those teams struggling, but again, I'm very impressed with the competition level of a lot of our teams. Now, our 2 smaller schools in the area, both are doing well. In 7-2A, Houma Christian is 10-3 on the year. And the team to really talk about in District 7-1A is CCA. CCA is beating everybody, and they've beaten everybody bad. CCA defeated Destrehan, who is doing extremely well this past weekend. Destrehan is a 5A school, folks. CCA is a 1A school. CCA has the best pitching I've seen on a high school level in a long, long time. I think they're going to be primed for a great run at a state championship. That would be in Division 4 of select baseball. A lot of times where Coach Joe Tutone kind of worried about his teams were, do I have enough pitching to pitch in consecutive games? If I'm in a tournament or if I'm in a best of 2 to 3 series, he has it this year. Not only that, they're very, very good in the field. We're going to get into names on that team. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk a little bit about CCA next week, as this week they have a pretty impressive slate of baseball to play too. But again, wouldn't surprise me one bit if CCA runs into their district slate having won all of their pre-district games, a very good baseball team. And we'll keep an eye on them going forward. In softball, District 8-5A, Thibodaux is 7-2. Central Lafourche 8-4. Very tough pre-district schedule for Central Lafourche. Very impressed with them. HL Bourgeois 6-3. Terrebonne struggling just a little bit at 2-8. In District 8-4A, Vanderbilt Catholic 9-1. Remember, they're your reigning state champions, and I think they're going to make a run for it all again. They lost their first game of the year this past weekend, but they're very good, folks. Assumption also very good. They are 10-2, and one of those losses was a 1-0 loss to Vanderbilt Catholic. So they don't play in the same bracket when it comes to state playoff time. Going to be interesting to see how far both of those teams can advance. E.D. White is 5-5, South Terrebonne 3-4, Ellender 2-3, South Lafourche is 0-10. They're struggling at this point. Houma Christian 3-5. Remember, they were in the state championship game last year in Division 4 select. Unfortunately, that team lost a lot of seniors and their starting pitcher who transferred out to a Lafayette area school. Struggling just a little bit, but Christy Crowdis always does well with the Lady Warriors. CCA in Division 7 1A is 2-6 on the early season. So lots of baseball and softball to be played. We're going to delve into that big time starting next week, now that basketball is totally done. And we're going to have a lot of fun doing that and probably start bringing you PowerPoint rankings because that's going to matter. And as these teams are getting around 12 games, 15 games, we're going to find out that PowerPoint rankings matter a whole lot at this time of the season. That's it for us. Again, as we sign off, a big congrats to Vanderbilt Catholic's girls basketball program. To Dustin, who puts all of this together, thank you very much, my friend. I know you're going to head right up and we'll get this out as we do on every Monday. Please subscribe, please like us, and that way you will get this every week, a notification, and you can just tune in from there. That's it for us. We are going to be back next week. Hope you have a wonderful week. Take care, everybody.